Hello. Greetings, everybody. This is Tyrone Milade, your goddess guru, your sister friend. Time for us to talk about astrology, wisdom for the week. But y'all know what? I just discovered a new name for myself. I'm the dancing diviner. I need all the goddesses to dance with me out there. Come on. Hey. Hey, we better dance because this week we need some fierce dancing. All righty. How y'all doing out there? I hope y'all even heard me. I never really know how I sound over the music as I stream it. But anywho, again, thank you everybody for being here today. Wow, we have a lot going on over this next week. I talked about this in the monthly reading, how the deeper we got into August, the stronger the astrology is becoming. And it is always working in our favor. How so never? We got to walk it out, baby. We got to walk this thing out no matter what. So again, Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, your sister friend, and you know I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess-centered lifestyle. It's all about tapping the power within, especially that feminine power within you. And we do so using tools from ancient times, such as astrology and divination. So I'm going to talk about the astrology today. I am going to talk, I have a reading that I'm going to do for us today. And yeah, so excited. If y'all would just please give the video a like, especially if you appreciate what I've shared. If you get one good thing out of this that's going to help you in your life, yes, give us just a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Um, I do want to just start off by sharing. It's not ready yet, but it's coming. One of the reasons I've been a little bit quiet is I'm working on creating an online shop. So I'm super excited about that. It's called the All Things Goddess Shop. I was thinking about starting it on Etsy, but yeah, I'm doing it in a different place. More details to come. And also, if you haven't read this yet, I sent it out in my last email. And also, it's here on my blog. You can read about how to go from self doubt to self worth. It's a really good reminder for some, and maybe a little bit of a tune up for others, because we could be feeling a little bit of self doubt right now. And what we're being asked to do is to have that confidence in the gifts that have been given to us. Because as we tap into our gifts and share them with the world, it helps the world to heal. So you'll see the link in the description box for that. So, yeah, let's just go on ahead and start off by talking about the astrology. And we are here today on August the 13th. And this week, the energy just starts amplifying. So even though we don't have anything going on here on the 13th, if we look at the 14th, first of all, Mercury goes back into Leo. I'm going to bring this up really quickly. So Mercury retrograde is doing its thing. It started back here in Virgo. And with Mercury being in Virgo, it had us focused on being more organized, maybe troubleshooting something in our lives, working on our health and our well-being. You know, Virgo is, I don't want to just say it's a worker bee type of energy. It's not just that, because it's not just doing the work. This is a very intelligent energy, but it's definitely got worker bee energy in there. It's just like we need to get some things done. And you know, there's a lot of energy on all these little small tasks that we need to get done. And some of it I think is even like, how do you get yourself organized, get all these tasks organized in the right order so that you know exactly what you need to do. Maybe it's a scheduling topic that's coming up for you. And it all depends on what your sign is, what area of life this is happening in. But there, all of us have something about, you know, organizing and troubleshooting an area of life. One area that could be something that we're all thinking about is our health and well-being. We even have the planet Venus here in um, Virgo. So Venus has us thinking a lot about, well, how am I eating? And is what I'm eating helping my skin and helping me to look good? And am I eating in a way that helps me to care for myself, you know? And Mercury was already getting that in order before she even got there to help us to start thinking about what is it that we want to do. Or it's like think about where you work and maybe it's like we're just too disorganized. We need a system. We need a way where it's like, here's step A, B, C, D. And that's what we do every time because Virgo wants you to be efficient and it wants you to streamline things. So, where is that coming up for you? So, Mercury said, okay, we started that and we'll come back to it. But right now, we want to come into the sign of Leo. And what does Mercury want us to do in Leo? So, Leo is going back to what I was talking about. What are your gifts and what are your talents? And how are you using them? And, Mercury is about communication. Are you using your gifts and talents to express yourself, or how are you expressing your gifts and talents? And it's asking you to have a little bit more of a hands-on um, approach to your gifts, your talents. And so, what does that mean? It means you're using them in some way. I think a lot of times people think we have to be at superstar level. Like, if you are not at the same level as people who are known by millions of people, then you're not doing much. It's not good. It's not top quality. But we were not necessarily like this mega stardom that we see, even just people going viral. None of that was a thing at the beginning of the world. Like, this is not how necessarily it was meant to be. Why would we be alive and not have some joy and some fun? Right. And that's what Leo is about. It's like, what do you really like to do? Do you have a hobby? Do it. Have some fun doing the things you absolutely love doing. Part of the reason some people become mega stars is they're doing what they were born to do. I love it when I hear from people who are well known for what they do and very successful for what they do or at what they do. Um, because oftentimes you'll hear them say, it was just like a mission. It was what I had to do. I was born to do this. And that's why this self-doubt piece, when I brought up my blog, it's like we've got to get past the self-doubt and see. I want y'all to understand something. Where is the self-doubt coming from? Well, we have something going over here in Pisces with this Saturn that can make us be to a certain degree doubting ourselves, but Saturn is kind of like, I'm gonna bring that up so that you can do something about it, so that you can put yourself in this place where you are not doubting yourself anymore. And so it's very important for us to be doing things that's going to help us um, understand when that self doubt comes up, there's a reason that it's there. Is because your subconscious mind is like, "Hey, take note of this." Well, part of it is your subconscious mind wants to keep you safe. That's the number one goal of the subconscious mind, to keep you safe, to keep you alive. And if you have a gift or a talent out there that you want to share, it could be a perceived threat if you're, if you feel that fear. So part of what I think Mercury retrograde is doing for us is really having us to kind of hone in and really focus on having fun and using our gifts and talents and having some joy from, that place within where it's like, this is authentically what I love to do. And we want to be able to do it without fear. Okay. So a lot of that is coming up and it'll be in the mind. You'll have maybe a lot of mental talk coming up, and it's interesting because I pulled 2 cards that from my, Mythical Goddess Tarot deck that are all mind they're like all about the mind. So I'll make sure I go over those. with you all. Okay, so Mercury is coming back into um Leo, and it's having us revisit those topics. It could be something around children also, healing your inner child, because Leo has to do with children, your childhood. It's your childhood. So it could be something like that. And it could actually be helping some of us who are in business. It could help us with social media. It could help us maybe network a little bit more and even get ourselves like putting ourselves out there, because that's Leo. Leo's like be on the center stage. So it could be something like that. And then Leo is also it's a topic about around fashion. So it could have us thinking a little bit about like what am I wearing, and what look do I want? What is my unique style? And it's about leadership and motivation. It has a lot to do with inspiration, also creativity. So Mercury maybe is having us reconnect with, you know, what's my source of motivation? Or helping us to look at how am I a leader? And one of the things that I'll say is, how are you the leader of your own life? But maybe just leadership in general in your life. There's some leadership topic coming up, and Mercury is having you to revisit that. And this is not the first time. Like Mercury is has already gone over these degrees once, and now it's coming back over these degrees a second time, and then it's going to move forward over these degrees a third time. So there's like this small break where we're really hyper focused on something, right? And it all depends on where is your Leo house. So for the fire signs, Leo for the fire signs could bring back topics around good fortune and good luck. I hope so for the fire signs. What are the fire signs? Just make sure you all know Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Um, but also there's a little bit around action, like taking some action for you all. And what else will I put with this? Yeah, I'm not gonna go super deep into it, but definitely topics around, well, even the body. It could bring up topics around the body, having fun, being inspired, growth, expansion. If you are an earth sign, so that's gonna be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Woo! Um, Mercury retrograde could really have you going deep within and doing, maybe it's a little of an emotional time for you, or maybe there's something around healing that you'll be focused on. It could be an ultra spiritual time for you. So I think that this could be a very creative time for the earth signs. If you have something where you need to channel some creativity, then think about that. Let's see here. For the air signs, this would be about relationships. So Mercury retrograde is bringing some topics back around relationships. It's bringing topics around groups that you might belong to. Also, it's very mental. So it could be something around learning, the mind, just like what's going on up here, maybe communication. But also, sometimes it's also around like movement, like going places, okay? Because air likes to move a lot. Freedom, it might be some topics that the air signs are pondering around freedom. And then for the water signs, this could have to do with making money. Maybe there was some missed opportunities to make money, or a missed career opportunity. And something like maybe you lost a job and you get it back, or you might even just think, I really need to decide, do I want to stay with this job or do I need to leave? So it's definitely topics around career, making money. Mm, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Did I do them all? I feel like I left something out. Uh, What's the fourth? Oh, yes. Okay, got it. All right. So that kind of gives you an idea of the themes that it could be bringing up for you around your sun, moon, or ascendant sign. So yeah, Mercury retrograde is really and truly, I think, bringing quite a bit up. I looked at the Mars retrograde, and Mars is going to be retrograde at the beginning of Leo. It will retrograde at the 6th degree of Leo. So we just had that new moon in Leo. Mercury is retrograding in Leo. And then we're going to have that Mars retrograde in part of Leo. So Leo is really it's being highlighted quite a bit as an important sign. So take some notes about what's going on right now. All right. Okay. So we're going to also have Mars conjunct Jupiter, but I also want you to see here Mars conjunct Saturn. And then where is it? Jupiter conjunct Saturn right here on the 19th. Okay. Oh, even Venus opposition in Saturn. So Saturn is yeah, Saturn is doing a lot. But Mars conjuncting Jupiter um is really setting off a new cycle. This cycle is going to last for about 26 months. And so it's important for you to start taking note of what's coming up. Now, Jupiter has to do with growth, expansion, and vision. And so there's something about growing and expanding that we are initiating at this time because Mars initiates. And so, maybe there's a new vision that's coming forward for you. It's happening in the sign of Gemini. So I think it could be really kicking off a lot around Geminian topics. And it's interesting because I think it was in 2021, we had a new beginning energy kick off in Gemini. I want to see something really quickly. So there was definitely an eclipse point that was close to where these planets are meeting here in Gemini. So maybe you want to go back to spring of 2021 in particular is what I'm thinking about. This could have started late 2020, but go back for sure to spring of 2021. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Sometimes when I have to think back because 'cause I've had so much happen since then. But it could be there was something new that started in that Geminian house, and so you wanna start thinking about what was kicked off because maybe it's taking it to a new level for you with this particular meeting, and it's gonna give you a little over 2 years to work on whatever topic is being kicked off for you. Now, one of the things that I predicted with Gemini is that it'll kick off a lot of learning. So a lot of people may want to learn. It may kick off workshop style learning or where it's not all the time traditional classroom settings. It's like you're learning skills because Mercury, excuse me, Gemini is the sign that has to do with skills, hands-on experience. And so it could be that more of us are learning new skills, more of us are getting hands-on experience, but it could definitely be kicking off this love of learning. It could be kicking off the gig economy. um, you know, a lot of Gemini is the energy of the apprentice. So, some of us may be learning through apprenticing instead of going to a traditional school setting. Or some of us may start teaching. You may find, hey, I have this special unique skill. Mercury is in Leo. I have this talent and people want to know how to learn how to use it. And so maybe you're going to be able to use your teaching skills to use teaching to teach a skill, or maybe you develop teaching skills. So it's definitely this mental energy. I think that something that's really important is for us to take care of our mental health. I'm hoping that this will kick off new beginnings around like this greater understanding of people's minds and how important mental health is, but it could literally make it a even bigger topic than it already is. So I just want to encourage you to take some slow, deep breaths to really take care of yourself because it could feel we could feel anxious, right? Um, for people who are writers, this is really good, or something you want to communicate. Do you want to write a book? Do you want to get a message out? This can help you with that. Um, this is also a sign. Oh, helping with the affirmations if we're dealing with that self doubt. Now, is Mars can make you tough. Let me put it that way. Mars can help to make you tough. It could give you courage, maybe to speak up for yourself, and we'll start hearing that more and more as time passes over these next 2 years. Let's see. I also want to say that Gemini has to do with relationships like siblings, friends, coworkers, neighbors. That could be a major topic for some of us. And then also it's the local community. So maybe people are going to feel like they want to understand their local community better. Some people's local communities might just expand. Like mine is growing by leaps and bounds, been doing so for years. But excuse me, Gemini is the local community. And with Gemini and Leo, it might be like, hey, I want to just kind of stay local and have more fun locally. And it could be short trips. You're making short trips to go learn about different cultures or to go and learn something. Maybe that will become something that is more prominent over the next couple of years. And it's about networking. So maybe our networks will expand. I want to just say this. I believe that it's so important to not get scammed right now. Don't get scammed in your email. Don't get scammed in your text messages. Don't get scammed in your, let's see, your phone calls, messenger apps. Avoid getting scammed. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. I'll give you an example. Somebody texted the wrong person. Initially, I didn't answer them because, with all of these leaks of our information, I get weird texts all the time. And I didn't answer. And then they texted again the next day. Hey, Lena, are you coming over? And I was like, you got the wrong phone number. I am not Lena. This is not her number. And the person had already told me, hey, this is Alex. This is Alice. This is not Lena. No, it's not Lena. And then, they were like, "Oh, sorry, I hope I didn't disturb you." I was like, "No problem. Have a great day. You didn't disturb me. Have a great day." And Alice proceeds to ask me, "Well, what's your name?" I said, "Michelle." And then Alice proceeds to ask me where I live. Block. I ain't got time for you, Alice. Alice might be a really nice person, but Alice might actually be somebody in some other country trying to scam me. Don't get scammed, people. Stay safe. Question everything. We don't know fact from fiction right now. That is immensely important this month, even into next month. Immensely. Um, so yeah, avoid getting scammed, but you know, there's a lot. If you're wanting to grow your email list, or you just may find that your email becomes important, even more important. People sleep on email. Email is important. Or lots of communication. This is a lot of communication. Now, it could be there is something that needs to be, we kind of need some wisdom. It's like communication guided by wisdom, but it's like direct and frank. So it could be like real talk over the next 2 years. And but, the other thing too, because Saturn is involved, let me bring Saturn to all of this. So, with Saturn being involved in all of this, there's sort of like this energy of hold your horses, everybody. That's interesting. One of the cards I pulled today is called Nightmare. It has a horse on it. Hold your horses. I need everybody to slow down. First of all, everybody has all these ideas because that's Gemini. You could be getting a lot of ideas. So make sure you write them down. I need everybody to take it down a notch, is what Saturn is saying, because there should be a plan. Where's the plan? Oh, y'all think y'all just gonna be running amok? No, you're not. I also kind of feel like Saturn is channeling in some spiritual energy. It's kind of like, hey, we need to make sure that we have our spiritual practices in place. We're listening to our intuition. That has a place in all of this too, because it's in Pisces. But yeah, Saturn is telling everybody, I need y'all to slow it down a little bit, and let's think about it. And Saturn actually is part of the reason, that because it's about mastery. I think it's actually a little bit of an energy that could be like, hey, if we actually are going to get this thing done right, then we're going to have to be a little bit slow and methodical. Thank you for all of the ideas. And by the same token, I need everybody to understand, you know, it's great to get all of these ideas, but also if you want this thing to last, there's like a plan. And Saturn is like, what is tried and true? That's what we need to do. Tried and true plan. All right. And I think too, I just want to believe that Saturn is asking us to, we need to bring in some rest. We need to bring in some feminine energy, because that's very masculine. This Mars and Jupiter, that is very, very masculine. The Mars and Sun and Mercury, masculine. Saturn is interacting with them and like, hey, we need some more feminine energy in there. Even Venus and Uranus, they're in Earth signs, and they're bringing this energy of being grounded. So it's like, yeah, get all these ideas, but also you want to get grounded. You want to take care of yourself. All right. I think that's important also. But there is this energy of a reality check that Saturn will bring. And so don't be surprised if it feels like this is a week of reality checks, but also don't be surprised if this is, I want to say that like the next 2 weeks are weeks where you're kind of like, I am completely and totally activated. I need to I need to take some action, but you want to take action guided by wisdom that is also based on some semblance of a plan. And that plan needs to have some little steps in there that you need to take. And that way it's not like we're driving on the road. Sometimes there are roads, at least here in the South, there'll be roads at night, especially, where I'm like, I don't even see the line. I don't know where the line is on this little back road. Oh, if it's raining, it's even worse. So Saturn is trying to make it so that we have lines on the road, we can stay in our lane. And when we do that, we don't veer off and go in the wrong direction. It'll be more straight and narrow. Whereas Jupiter and Mars, it just wants to take us there, like it's like, however we're gonna get there. I wanna also say, I think that there could be more people going to, say, for instance, the Air Force Academy. I don't think this is also maybe people wanting to go into space more, I don't know, with Pluto being there in Aquarius. It's not interacting with these planets right now, but I'd like to think there's something about the air, and maybe even, more, maybe prices will become better, or people flying will become a little bit more of a thing. But don't get me wrong, we might start focusing more on public transportation, improving the roads. That's something else that I think could happen as a result of this, where people are kind of like, I don't want to drive my car anymore. I want to take the bus, or you used to, or the train, and maybe you switch it. You used to take the train, but now you want to take your car. But there's definitely something about traveling to and fro and how you do that that could be coming up for us, that could massively change over the next year. I also want to just say, one of the things that I've talked about quite a bit with the age of Aquarius is that more people will be having their own business. So I think that this could really help people launch a business, or if you already have a business, it can help you take that business to the next level. It's like a storefront. And I think maybe this is what has inspired me to create this storefront, because I had been milling it around, like, how do I actually get people to see what I have? And one day I heard someone talking about Shopify. No, I know about Shopify, but they talked about it in a way where I was like, I get the power of Shopify. So it's like I want to create a storefront. It might be a literal storefront in your community because this is Gemini. So I'm just putting this all out there for y'all. This is important. This is exciting. It could feel very stressful. Some of us could feel like we need to get some mental health support over the next 2 weeks. Do what you need to do. All right. Um, some of us may need to maybe sleep a little bit extra, even though you may not be able to feel like you can sleep. It rest. All right. This is important. And you'll be moving and shaking and candlestick making too. Okay. So I've pretty much talked about all of these. I didn't talk about Sun conjunct Mercury. That is like a renewal of the mind. So that's gonna be around the 17th, 18th, and 19th. It'll feel like there's a renewal of the mind. Um, I really want to believe that this could be a time where we experience some good fortune. Everyone will experience good fortune, but it might come after a sacrifice. It might come after it might come with a little bit of a struggle. However, I want you to open yourself up to a blessing. A blessing is definitely in the mix and in the play, but it could be like a blessing that comes, it could come in the form of somebody gets real with you and tells you the truth in a way where you're like, dang, that hurt, but I needed to hear that, you know? So it could be something like that. It could be like you have a struggle and some kind of miracle comes in at the last minute. This would be closer to like the 18th, 19th. I'm just gonna say for the next 2 weeks. Um, let's see here. Also, as we get to the 8th, 17th through about the 20th, there could be definitely it could feel like Mercury retrograde. So you just want to be more intentional during that time with your technology, with being out and driving around. Um, yeah. I will do a separate video for the full moon in Aquarius. I don't even want to touch that moon right now. Okay, so let me let me do the oracle reading. So, and y'all, I don't know if y'all can see. I have to put some stuff under my eyes. I had a jacked up eye last week, and I'm still working to get this eye unswollen. I don't know if I got a bug bite. We never did figure it out, but I had to go to the doctor and everything twice for this eye. So, oracle reading, first card I pull is a wind card. So, that's the mind. You know what? This is a really good one. Isolation. This could be a week where we feel a little bit isolated. And let me just read to you what this says. So this is a crow and it's in the desert and she's watching her loved ones from afar in grief and anguish of her perceived isolation. With only one eye open, this crow sees with a skewed perspective, perceiving herself to be isolated and unsupported. And she is here to teach you that grief and sorrow from separation and loss often bring the illusion of isolation. And you're being forced to release the past for your highest good. Seek help in the unseen realms where you are eternally loved and supported so that you may know your oneness with all of humankind and heal in the arms of spirit. So that's that Saturn in Pisces that I was talking about, where it's kind of like we can't leave out the spirituality. And so, yeah, I love that. Really understanding that we have divine support, even when it seems like we're here alone. So, yeah. And that particular card is Saturn in Libra. And what I see, even though actually Saturn is what is called exalted in Libra, it's not a bad placement. It's a very excellent placement if you have Saturn in Libra. But what I will say is Saturn feels like it restricts in terms of Libra. What's Libra? Support. I want you to ask. Just ask for support if you need it, okay? Now I love this one. Oh, this is good because it's leaving out some things or bringing in some things I didn't say. Another wind card, and it has to do with patience. Patience. And interestingly, it is related to Jupiter. So Jupiter is a big player this week outside of Saturn. It's Jupiter. So it says the deep peace of patience radiates from this woman who is also pregnant with child. Her inner calm and knowing is earned by her internal alignment with source. So Gemini is a sign that has to do with mindfulness and having this calmness on the inside. And that is something that I think is really important. Is when you have that calmness, there is that alignment that we have with spirit. Um, in the African tradition that I'm initiated into, one of the things that we talk about is we have a soul, and it's like only a part of our soul is here. And then there's a part that is not differentiated into the body. It remains on the outside of the body. So there is our soul that is in the body. Even though we think we are this skin and flesh, there still is this inner part of ourselves that's connected to the part of ourselves that is not incarnated into the body. Okay. And part of the wisdom from this tradition is you want to get yourself aligned, because even that part of ourselves that's not in the body that we're connecting with, there's another there's the great divine energy, by whatever name you call it, the great divine energy that it's also connected to. And so when we find ourselves and we're wanting to get in alignment with that energy, so the more we can create this internal alignment, what are we aligning with? I want to give you a word: congruent. That's what Leo is asking us to do. Are you congruent 100% body, mind, spirit, emotions? And where you are not congruent, you want to begin to figure out, like, do I need to heal? Is there some trauma that's there? Do I have some misinformation? Do I have lack of understanding in some kind of way? Do I need to educate myself more that would allow me to bring myself in alignment, right? But the more we're feeling ourselves aligned and congruent, and we are aligning ourselves with this energy, this high wisdom, then that is what is going to help us to life may not always be easy, but it can feel like I got this. That's how I read this. Okay. She is open to receive the flow of stellar support. Oh, the flow of stellar support always present. She shows that through perfect patience, the way is clear and illuminated, and all is coming in its perfect time. That is so Saturn. What I was talking about Saturn, like, everybody, I need y'all to slow it down. But then this even brings in the topic of cycles and everything at its perfect time. And that's why we need to have this Pisces energy of trust. Everything will happen in its perfect time. Pisces is this divine energy. It's this energy where it's just like God's got it, right? So that's another thing that we're being asked. Yeah, take all this action. You have all these ideas coming to you. Life is just doing what life is doing for you. But can you trust it? Can you trust that there is a higher, you know, energy at play in your life that's unfolding and blooming and blossoming in a beautiful way? So it says, as you allow your patient, receptive mind to come to center, you open the channels for all that you desire to come to you when appropriate for your greatest joy and fulfillment. As you allow your patient, receptive mind to come to center, you open the channels for all that you desire to come to you when appropriate for your greatest joy and fulfillment. Wow. That was an amazing reading. I'm gonna go in the order that I pulled them. So the next one that I'm gonna pull is Nightmare. And when I first I was gonna end with this oracle. This is my Moon Magic Oracle. I was gonna end with it, but when I saw Nightmare, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pull one more from my African Goddess Rising deck. But let's see what Nightmare is all about. Look at this. Look at this. Fear, courage, and overcoming. So that's that Mars energy over the next 2 years. Fear, courage, overcoming. All right. Very important. So it says here, mhm, the creature of our darkest dreams, the nightmare brings chilling visions to our sleep, leaving us anything but rested. Sleepwalking, night terrors, sleep paralysis, walking in a cold sweat. These are the tools she uses to get our attention. That's a different way of understanding all of that. The nightmare knows that the best way to overcome a fear is to face it. That is definitely something that I think a lot of us will be focused on, overcoming our fears through facing them. Wow. Thank you, universe. Thank you, great mother. And the best place to face it down is in the dreams as we sleep safely in our beds. When this card comes up, it is suggesting that you take steps to face up to things that frighten you, whether that is a phobia or an existential fear such as loneliness or death. Explore where your fear comes from. Try to understand it and its origins within your psyche. Ride the nightmare until you have tamed her wild spirit and rendered her powerless over you by facing down your fears one at a time. While it is impossible to live without any fears at all, it is possible to live fearlessly and to face down those terrors. And when they present themselves, use dream spells for a better night's sleep. So there we go. I'm not saying that I have sleep spells. Maybe a great sleep spell is when I go to bed at night, I will sleep soundly. I will sleep well. I will sleep all night. It will be a peaceful sleep, and my dreams will be joyful. So, a spell is really kind of like speaking to your subconscious mind. That's a very powerful spell right there. So, yeah, speak to your subconscious mind if you're having problems at night with bad dreams. Next time the nightmare visits you, jump on her back and see where she takes you. Regard your dreams as teaching tools and don't be afraid of the dark. This has given me a whole new perspective, which is something that I think a lot of us may experience over the next 2 years. We're going to get a whole new perspective. You know, Gemini is about belief systems. And so, for a lot of us, with this Mars and Jupiter meeting down here in in Gemini, we could be getting to a place where we have entirely new ways of seeing the world, new ways of believing. Because one thing that you need to understand about beliefs, it's just an opinion that you've bought into. Yeah, we can change our beliefs and it'll change our world. And I think that too, another way of looking at this Mars meeting Jupiter here in Gemini, also interacting with this Saturn, is it gives us an opportunity to really step into more empowered beliefs. Okay. Because Gemini is beliefs. And it's kind of like, how do you let go of a belief? Well, you got to face it and you got to be willing to have the courage to let it go, to step into a whole new way of thinking. But one thing I want to offer to you is that this phrase that was given to me, this is not who you are. This is what you learned. And if you learned it, you can unlearn it and learn something new. All right. So I want you to know that that is a journey a lot of us will be on over the next few couple of years, and it will take us to a whole new level. Gemini is also this energy of, it's all about communication, like I said. And so I actually think gossip shows are gonna come back, gossip columns are gonna come back. And I really do. I think that we'll have to do a lot to separate fact from fiction, or for me, as somebody who is initiated into a goddess, her name is Yemonja, where gossip is taboo. I will not be gossiping, but you may decide I'm not going to be dealing in this gossip stuff. But don't be surprised if we find gossip just really becomes a little bit more rampant. So, last reading of the morning is my aunt. That's why I was like, I'm doing my aunt last. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I was like, thank you, my aunt, for coming through. But guess what my aunt is? My aunt is the same energy as Jupiter. Oh my gosh. So let's see here. My aunt for my mythical goddess tarot deck. Element is the air. So, she's bringing in that air element. She's really fiery to me also. And she signifies she's the goddess of giving and receiving. We also know she has to do with truth, but according to this oracle, goddess of giving and receiving. She represents alignment, truth, and balance. Her name means order. As her father, the Egyptian sun god Ra rose out of the chaos and put her in charge of divine justice. So here's her guidance: reset your harmonic balance. You are out of alignment. And here's the second one talking about alignment. The sacred scales command you to give and receive. If you receive without giving, you are selfish and out of alignment. She hits tough. Okay. This is not a soft oracle here. Okay. This is more of a Saturnian oracle. She's going to say it like she thinks it. If you give without receiving, you're stuck in martyrdom and out of alignment. Giving and receiving is spiritual law and spell work. Give time, money, service, resources, and good vibes. If you are a generous giver, cultivate a practice of receiving. Receiving is a sacred feminine principle that makes many people uncomfortable. Receive compliments, joy, support, pleasure, friendship, money, and love. They're all the same in spirit. And here's the goddess declaration: I give easily and freely, and I receive freely and easily. So, yeah, um, there was something I wanted to say. Oh, so, this is definitely a card that indicates abundance, right? So, I want us to open ourselves to abundance. Just on a little bit of a side note, I really do think that we are at a place where something about the media, just news outlets, because Gemini is news. So it may be, TV, it could be newspapers. There's something new happening. And actually, I think that Mars being there, which Mars stands for independence, I think that maybe we'll start seeing independent media outlets really take off. So if you're one of those people who wants your own independent media outlet, I don't know anything about it, but definitely might be something that you want to get into. But I do think, it was talking about my aunt being justice. And I was like, who's going to receive justice? Who's going to be looked at? Um, I already said the media. I really wonder about the Supreme Court also, because Jupiter is the Supreme Court. And I just think that maybe the media will start, you know, calling out the Supreme Court a little bit more. Or maybe we're going to get more details because Gemini, excuse me, yeah, Gemini is the details. So maybe we'll get a little bit more details in that regard. Um, Also, I'll say that this is a week where we can it might be actually for the next, yeah, 2 weeks, where we will be able to connect with, maybe get some healing from our childhood, or really recognize how much when we do things that are joyful, how much that heals us. That's how I want to say it. Healing from doing things that make you happy and bring joy, especially hobbies. I think we're just so far from our hobbies. And also how much we heal other people when we share our gifts and talents, which I think I've already said that. So, um, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it right now. By the end of this week, I will have the full moon in Aquarius video ready for you all. Thank you all so much for being here. Again, please, if you would give the video a like, especially if you got something from it. I would love it if you shared it. I'm gonna start my music. Um, know that I appreciate you. My goal is to have us connected more to the divine feminine energy. For those of us who want to even take it further, the goddess. We're wanting to bring back the power of the goddess. Her energy has been suppressed, and it is reflected in us women feeling suppressed, oppressed, and repressed. And the more we connect to the divine feminine energy within and connect with the ancient ways of feminine women, such as using things like oracles and astrology, the more we're able to tap the power within. And when we have women who feel powerful and are connected to the power within, this world can't help but be a better place. Thank you all so much for being here today. I appreciate you. And sisters, be well. And as Leo would say, be great. Love you all so much. And yeah, connect with you soon. Let's just jam it on out just a little bit. Let me see you move. Come on, goddess. Yeah. Dancing is goddess, baby. Come on, tap into that feminine power. Move your body. Take care.